YouTube, what the crap's going on? What is it with the dwarves lately? Well, I guess it's because they're fun. So, we've got, crap, I'm at Ungrim, Iron Fist here. Boy, Ungrim's really taken a back seat since Grombrindle came around, huh? Nah, he got better in the last patch. He's pretty good. So, we've got the dwarves here. We do have double Ungrim. So, and each one has a runesmith. Let's check out the front line. We got dwarf warriors and the grumbling guard. Some rangers. Longbeards on the flanks. It's a pretty tough unit to throw on the flanks. There's some iron breakers and Ekron miners along with dragonback slayers and a grudge thrower in the back. Let's check out the other dwarf build. Norgremling's iron breakers with the warriors a dragonfire pass. A longbeard, another iron breaker, so it'd make that 2 longbeards. 2 thunders. And we are going to have 2 cannons. Now, we have an Empire and a Bretonnia player, and I did see when I was loading that none other than Mr. Balthasar Gelt, the Supreme Patriarch, Mr. Goldface. Is this guy, like, is he like the gold member of the Warhammer world? I think he is. And he's a fun pick versus the dwarves, honestly, because he can be somewhat useful. The Empire's got 3 Outriders with grenade launchers. Holy cow. And over here we've got Luan, some Royal Hippogriff Knights, a couple of questing knights. That armor piercing could pay dividends against the dwarves. There's a couple of men-at-arms and a peasant mob up front, behind 4 units of foot squires, Grail Relic, and a damsel, Lore of Life. Hey, speaking of which, if you all have not gone and watched the Norska campaign Let's Play, I suggest you go watch it. Some of you are wondering why I haven't made a video about Norska yet. I feel really out of touch with Norska. I just watched the Let's Play, but I missed a bunch of stuff because I was out traveling. And everybody's already made a Norska video at this point. I don't know if there's a huge point in my doing so. They look like they're a lot of fun. I suggest you go over to the Total War YouTube channel and watch the Norska campaign Let's Play. If you haven't, it seems like they have some interesting mechanics that you can check out. And I'll just go ahead and cover a couple things real quick before this battle really gets underway. But they have like a thing where when you sack a colony, you can do it in the name of one of the 4 gods that they worship. And you have to like strike this balance between those gods, and going up in favor with one can provide special units and abilities. Really looks pretty cool, like some very unique gameplay setup. So they're kind of a mix of chaos with a more standard faction. Look at the grenade launchers opening fire. This unit right here of Longbeards is going to get absolutely shreked because of its formation. And these quarrelers better get all over those grenade launchers in a big hurry. And the grenade launchers better get way clear of here because they will get wrecked by quarrelers. And we also got dragonback slayers in pursuit, so time to be a little bit careful. Yeah, look at this. The Empire rolls up with Hellblaster volley guns and says, let's just see you try. So 3 volley guns. And the dwarf artillery is trying to stop them, but yeah, 3 units of volley guns is going to be able to do considerable damage. And there's a juicy Norgremling's iron breakers right up front, but it looks like the volley guns targeting down the artillery first and doing a fantastic job. Wow. And Bretonnia just going all in, just rushing the flank before their opponent gets here. Should have waited on the Empire for sure. But the Empire is going to sit back, and Balthasar is just going to stand out in front of this like that he's the man here. And just keep dropping it. And it looks like Balthasar drops a transmutation of lead to support his Bretonian friends here. That's a pretty big debuff, but at the moment the dwarves are just absolutely spanking Bretonnia because they are all alone. And the grenade launcher outriders here are getting nailed with skirmisher fire. So pretty quickly that's turning into a bad venture. The Empire really should have been up here to support the infantry fight. And right now, basically, Bretonnia is going to pay a hefty price. But let's see what happens. The Royal Hippogriff Knights and Luan have dive bombed in. Now remember, Ungrim has a bonus versus large and can be quite dangerous if he doesn't get knocked on his trash constantly. One of the volley guns is ratted, maybe due to these thunders, but the other 2 are firing away. 16 kills, 23 kills, 20 kills, and the unit size is actually down just a little bit. Balthasar is going to come in with his men. Bretonnia struggling to hold on here with their last few units. A few foot squires, though, actually getting some pretty decent work done at this point, but a lot of the Bretonian army is reeling. So let's see what happens. Balthasar is going to stay back from the fight a little ways, which he absolutely should, but he better be careful. These Thunderers could put a beat on him and kill him in a big hurry. Nordgrimling's Ironbreaker's coming up against Great Swords, and then there's Ironbreakers supporting in the back that's just bombing the snot out of all these Great Swords. Another... Okay, no, that's Rune of Oath and Steel over here. And here we've used the Transmutation of Lead again with Balthasar with a pretty significant debuff. But there is still considerable damage, and those Thunders are open up on Balthasar just like I said they should. So Balthasar is about to have a metal face filled with breathing holes. But that's one way to put an end to a bunch of dwarf skirmishers. Let the grudges be written. So the Royal Hippogriff Knights making very, very short work of those Thunderers, and I mean very short. They're being pursued by Dragonback Slayers, but it is far too late at this point, and the Empire Infantry is getting some work done, but there are still a lot of dwarves left here. But the dwarves have a problem. These volley guns just firing away completely unchecked. They're a little bit far away, and they don't have the best blob to fire at, but they are killing some Ironbreakers and other key units. So certainly getting some work done. The grenade launcher Outriders, there's still 2 units of them out here firing away. That's going to be really useful in the late game if there's nothing left to oppose them. But we'll see whether or not there is something left. Balthasar is still trying to keep clear here. It's just so weird. A lot of people were telling me, because I was complaining once that Isabella had 100 armor and Balthasar has 20, and they're like, oh, that's because he doesn't wear any armor. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't see a ton of metal on him, but his face is metal. Like, is the rest of his body not metal? I still think Balthasar should have some armor. Whether he's actually wearing it or not, that should be his thing, right? He's a lore of metal sorcerer. The guy should be, like, covered in metal. That would be one thing that would actually make him pretty good. So I think 2 things would make Balthasar actually pretty competitive. Give him some armor, for 1, and then 2, make it to where his Plague of Rust is an area of effect Plague of Rust, because he's a legendary caster, and I'm pretty sure that that right there in and of itself now makes Balthasar a perfectly viable lord. He wouldn't be great in melee still, which is fine. He's a caster, but he would last a little longer, and he would have a spell that would be a huge menace to those factions who are unable to deal with him. So let's see at this part. Balthasar gets killed. Lewin's still going strong. His Hippogriff Knights are still supporting. The the Damsel Lore of Life is still alive. And we've got the 2 Outriders with grenade launchers and a 3rd one that's still broken here, but ooh, this is bad. Quarrelers are going to open up on them, and that's going to put an end to these Outriders in a big hurry. They have terrible leadership. So one of them, I think, even shattered right there. 32 kills and 9 kills. This one almost got a chevron. Over here, it looks like one Ungrim Iron Fist is getting pretty low, and he's about to bite it. That should be the end of him. There he goes. So at least one Ungrim is down, but the second one's still alive. And most of the Bretonnian infantry is gone. The Spellsinger hurling herself into combat at this point, so Bretonnia desperately fighting away. The volley guns, though, have definitely paid off. 2 chevrons on this one, 1 chevron on that one, about 1.5. So they have gotten some work done, some important work. The question is whether or not Lewin and the Grail Relic can get this job done. The Royal Hippogriff Knights have gotten some pretty good work done. They've picked up 2 chevrons. There's some regrouped Empire Great Swords that could make a big difference here, and some Foot Squires as well. All these need to get back into combat, and better yet, coordinate themselves back into combat. Arcane Conduit being used, probably trying to scrape up some magic there from the Damsel, so that she can use some healing. Some healing would actually potentially swing this battle. It's fairly close, but right now a little bit in favor of the Empire Bretonnia alliance. This Hellblaster gun right here still has some ammo left. Both of them do, so they're going to want to push up. And I would think it may not have hurt at one point to just pull back and let the volley guns do some work. Runes of Wrath and Ruin being used on the Great Sword, so the Dwarves getting some great impact there. All it's going to take is a charge or 2 to kill Ungrim. I think he has charge resistance, though. I could be wrong. Nope, he died right there. So the second Ungrim goes down, and that's got to be the end of the Dwarves, but the balance bar didn't really move. Not a lot yet, at least. In fact, it's almost like, if anything, maybe swung just a teeny bit back in the favor of the Dwarves, which is really quite odd. This runesmith is still very much alive, but so is Lewin. But in terms of infantry, I don't know if the Empire Bretonnian infantry has quite enough to finish this off or not. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like the Dwarves are still hanging tight in terms of the balance bar, but I don't know how a runesmith is going to stop Lewin, especially with a volley gun back here that has ammo. This runesmith might find himself being a target of that volley gun. It's obstructed, though. It can't fire because of the hill. Volley guns don't have the greatest arc of fire, so you gotta be aware of that. Yeah, there goes all the infantry. And so now it is just gonna be Lewin, who's used his Sword of Coron. Absolutely brutal. And the volley gun now firing at these longbeards who straight up into their range. The volley guns need to move up. This one came back from routing and can get back on its gun. Now it's turning against the Dwarves. I'm surprised it didn't earlier. By all means, Lewin pretty much has this fight in the bag, even without doing a lot of cycle charging. He should be able to tear up what remains of these Dwarves. They're not going to be terribly good at taking out Lewin. What a fight! That was a good one. I like that. So the Dwarves got off to a really early good start, and then a follow-up attack by Balthasar's army, and the support of his artillery started to turn the fight a little bit, but in the end, it is going to be for liege and lands here, as Lewin defeats the Dawi, keeping that which is sacred as sacrament. So there we go. Good stuff. Fun battle. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. And what else do you want to see in Warhammer? Man, I just honestly at this point I'm just like crazy excited. I couldn't be more excited about Norska. Can't wait to play it. Total War is just an exciting franchise to be in right now. There's all kinds of cool titles upcoming. With Warhammer 2, the standalone expansion that's coming for a historical title. I believe they announced it was Rome 2. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly, but I want to say they announced it was Rome 2. Look at this single Slayer here. This guy refuses to die. This ought to be good. Look at him goading, saying, come on. Did Lewin leave that guy alive? Is he going to go try and rack up some kills? I think the single Slayer is really the only unit that has to be killed for the battle to be over. What was that? Oh, it's the grenade launchers. They're going to try and grenade launch the last Dawi. It's like the last of the Mohicans. Look at this guy. Oh, he lost his head, folks. He lost his head. If the grenade doesn't get you, the volley gun will. And speaking of grenades, there's some of them on the way right there. So he was about to die one way or the other. What a brutal end for that final dwarf there. Surely many grudges will be written. So feel free to write your own grudges in the comments if you so choose to, because you're a fan of the Dawi there. So appreciate that replay being sent in by WX Man there. And then the legend, appreciate you playing with them. Zadarak and Anasilos. Thank you guys, it was fun. Appreciate you playing. Let's look at some of the stats here. The volley gun's definitely doing a good job. Remember, the unit settings were slightly lower, so the kills won't be as high. But if we take a look here, all the volley guns picking up 1 chevron, one of them picking up 2. No chevrons on the Outriders, though. They weren't able to get it. And then Lewin here with 97 kills. 2 chevrons and 66 kills on the Hippogriff Knights. Not bad at all. And then we look at the first Ungrim army. Ungrim racking up 50 kills themselves. 52 kills from the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, which is honestly kind of impressive considering that there was 3 Hellblaster volley guns around. And then if we look at the second Dawi army here, 86 kills on Ungrim. So Ungrim not doing bad on either army. And Ironbreakers there with 67 kills. Grumbling Guard with 63 kills. So a pretty solid performance out of a couple of those units. I do hope you all enjoyed this one. Appreciate MSI sponsoring my channel as always. And I appreciate you, my awesome viewers, being here. I love the feedback you give me. I love making videos for you. It is a lot of fun. Seriously, every day it's a lot of fun. Hope you all know that this is a real pleasure for me and that I look forward to it every day. I'm going to go record some Rome 2. So if you want to see that, check it out. It should be uploading at roughly the same time. I will see you soon in Total War. HeirofCarthage signing out.